What? Welcome to Seller Sessions. I am your host today, Sharon Evan, and I have the coolest guys. Well, maybe there's two missing, but the coolest guys in the industry with me today. We've got Tim Jordon, Barkus, Norman, and Nir. Hello. Thank you for being here. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Great.
We have a really interesting subject today. And before we say what the subject is, do you guys want to very quickly, for the people that don't know you, which is nobody, quickly tell everyone who you are, what you do, and then we can get into our subject about Jeff stepping down from CEO in Q3. Starting with Tim Jordon, the one and only. He's pretending he can't hear.
Oh, I was on mute. I'm sorry. You got me. It's always weird when you say everybody knows who Tim is, because I realize kind of what a bunch of losers are in this audience. Like, if the four of us are the cool guys, like, man, this whole community really needs some extra cool people in it. But no, I've been selling since about 2015. Do a lot of stuff in the e-commerce space. Run a group called the Private Label Legion with Norman here, and yeah, I just sell and help people sell. So that's it.
That's great, Barkus.
I don't have as good of an intro as Tim, but I've been selling randomly since 2015, and I've been in the Amazon software space since 2015 as well. Currently work for Helium 10, and yeah.
What does selling randomly mean? Just like a random question.
Oh, sorry. So I haven't sold the same types of products consistently since 2015. I've also sold on like Etsy and eBay. Those are really some tests back in the day, but I'm not consistent with those two marketplaces.
Cool. The one and only bearded guy with the biggest beard I've ever seen, Norm.
Okay, I'm Norm Farrar. Some people call me Tim's B word.
Buddy?
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Tim's bra.
That's it, bra. Yeah.
Not your bra. Your bruh. There's a big
Bro.
difference.
Okay, you tell me. I'm old. Bro sounds bro.
Bro.
Sorry,
Okay. Are you going to interrupt me again?
No one's going to interrupt you, Norman. Who are you for the nobody that nobody knows who everybody knows who you are is what I meant to say. But
no,
okay.
So I'm Norm. I've been selling on Amazon for a while. I've been in e-com forever. Tim and I do have a mentoring group called Private Label Legion, Centurion Group, and I sell a little bit on Amazon. How's that? I'll keep it nice and short.
Well done, Norm.
A little bit, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. So my name is Sharon. Take it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go, Nir.
So my name is Nir Raveh. I'm the CEO of a company called MarketWise, active on Amazon as a seller and also as a service provider for the last 12 years, something like that. We're doing A to Z service, including PPC, etc. And also people know me as like doing the appeals. If something happened on Amazon, we are the company to approach. Advertising.
Awesome. So that's who everyone is. Welcome all. Thank you for being here today. And let's get into the very sexy subject right now. You know, I was going through Clubhouse the other day, like you do now. Everyone's on Clubhouse all day. And when did the announcement come out? Yesterday or the day before? The day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And there were like 12 rooms. I did a screenshot, like a video of it. 12 rooms. Jeff Bezos steps down as CEO with like hundreds of people in each room. And I was like, okay, oh my God. So that's our subject today. So we're going to talk about each one of us. It's going to be interesting because I think we're probably all going to say the same thing. So Tim's lucky because he's going first. But what do you think, guys, is going to be the impact of the one and only Jeff stepping down as CEO on us sellers, first of all, starting with Tim?
Sorry, guys, this is going to be a tough act to follow because we're all going to say the same thing. But my opinion is it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. You know, when you have a company that's as big as Amazon, one single person acting as CEO doesn't really change much down in the ranks where we operate. He's not making the decisions. He doesn't probably have a whole lot of understanding of even what's going on, at least day to day. And when you think of Amazon, you know, because we're third-party sellers, think of Amazon products, Amazon products, Amazon products. But remember, Amazon has a lot of different stuff going on. Like, think of Amazon Web Services, AWS. My understanding is it's actually more profitable than Amazon.com. And if you look at who Bezos brought in as the new CEO, it was the head of AWS. So Bezos has been dealing with AWS, Amazon, Blue Origin. I mean, the dude's trying to freaking go to Mars. He's wrapped up in so many things that none of us are aware of. I don't think it's going to matter. But also keep in mind, he's not leaving. He's just going to be the executive chairman. And what that means is he's not required legally to do a lot of crap that CEOs have to do with specific meetings and board responsibilities and crap like that. It's basically going to let him continue to be a visionary and run wild and do his thing while handing off some more of the day-to-day press operations and crap like that to somebody else.
Awesome. I agree with you, Tim. Bacchus.
I kind of feel the same way. I think that he's been, I don't know, maybe like half a foot out the door for a while. And I do agree with Tim. Like, I don't think he understands a lot of stuff that's happening in, I guess, like our world, for our version of Amazon, or how we perceive it. So I am excited to have like a fresh pair of eyes as CEO, hopeful that something could change. Like, you know, this guy, you know, Tim brought it up too, that this Andy guy, he's the one that basically built AWS, and it's just a monster as far as revenue and where they can grow that. He's also interested in bringing their video game market up to you know, at least entertaining that area. So I don't know, maybe there's some tech that'll trickle down. I'm not really sure, but I think 100% he's trying to compete with Elon now. So they have a colorful past of not really caring for each other. And it's like nobody knows Blue Origin exists unless you know who Jeff Bezos, like unless you follow Jeff Bezos. So,
exactly.
But everybody knows about SpaceX. Like they're breaking rockets every day right now in Florida. So I think it's a race to Mars. So I think that's what he wants his legacy to be, is like, I helped inhabitate Mars, if that's even possible in our lifetime, versus selling products online.
Interesting. I was going to be the next thing about the whole Elon and Jeff thing, because but we'll get into that soon. Norm, do you agree with these guys that there's not going to be much of an impact on us as sellers?
I think if there was going to be much of an impact, we probably would have saw it already in the stock market. But you know, I agree with both people, because Andy Jassy, you know, what he's done over the last little while with AWS and cloud has been incredible. Not only incredible, but AWS and just the cloud-based services that are offered, it's so huge. But people don't realize, you know, what they've done. They own roughly 30% of the cloud market, and they made 52. I've heard rumors of 60% profit from Amazon. Crazy. And one of the things I read a quote from Jeff Bezos that I think was pretty cool. I found it on Yahoo Finance, and he said, "Keep innovating and don't despair when at first the idea looks crazy. Remember to wander. Let curiosity be your compass. It remains day one." I thought that was pretty cool. And that's where I see it right now, is Amazon's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to ebb and flow. We don't know where. Tim and I had a really great conversation the other day with our group, just for private label sellers, showing that Amazon's not getting tougher, but actually loosening it up for more third-party sellers to come in and compete. So the way that I'm looking at it right now is, I think that, yeah, you might see the cloud services and AWS expanding where it's never expanded before. But I also see that there's going to be new developments for e-commerce. How's that?
When you say loosening it up,
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So one of the things, well, Tim, I don't know if you want to chime in here too, but like fulfillment center, Amazon's not aggressively going after their own brands right now. They've stopped it. And this is something, again, I want to go back to Tim because this was Tim talking during our conversation. But just allowing first of all, the warehousing opening up to third-party sellers, FBM being able to be promoted a lot more than it was, and Amazon basic services, so basic essentials, all that stuff. They're not aggressively going after that like they were about a year ago. I don't know, Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, it depends on what you mean by loosening up. Amazon is getting stricter for like opening accounts, require PSPs, video conferences for new accounts. But although on the surface that looks like restricting, it is opening up for us because legitimate sellers now have a better opportunity to thrive. But also to the point about fulfillment, I think Amazon realized they can't do it all. Amazon realized they can't be a closed box system. Remember, like a year and a half ago, you used to be able to ship stuff from Amazon through your Etsy store, your eBay store, whatever. And they basically said, we're going to deprioritize your shipments. It is going to go in an Amazon box, not a white box. And then when the Walmart Shopify partnership happened, Amazon, I think, went, holy crap, we're going to get our butts smoked in the next 15 years if we don't play ball and be a little bit more seller-centric. So they started doing things like opening up those programs again where you can ship from Amazon on white boxes. So I think that ultimately it's becoming a little bit more restricted to get started, but they're creating more opportunities for legitimate sellers and legitimate brands.
Interesting. I mean, after you explained it, I agree. Because originally when you said loosening up, I was like, I feel like they're making it harder. No. Not for us, but for the people who don't play it, by the game, by the rules.
It's not even so much playing by the game, is that they're under a microscope right now. And, lawsuits are coming in, and we don't see these lawsuits a lot of the times, but their legal team has to protect Amazon, and it just trickles down to the seller.
And remember, Biden coming in is going to change some things, with a more liberal government in the U.S. They're going to be more focused on the smaller guys, on the sellers, as opposed to the big corporations. And that's always been kind of that way. And not just the lawsuits that Norm was talking about, but remember the government has been on big tech, in the past few years, including Amazon. So everybody thinks, Amazon screwed up when they stopped letting us solicit for reviews. Guys, that wasn't Amazon. That was the SEC. Like they came in and said, no, this is defrauding consumers. Like the government is already putting their fingers in and kind of tweaking some things. So between government oversight and become lawsuits, like Amazon has to clean up their game, which I think is massively exciting for us because like I was in a clubhouse the other day with some just complete moron. I won't mention his name.
Sorry.
Literally the word he said. What did he say?
He said sorry.
Literally the word that was said was, it's impossible to compete against the Chinese now. If you can't beat them, join them. And that's why I work only with Chinese sellers.
God.
Man, I got fired up. I was screaming at my iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, are you freaking kidding me, you moron? That's not the case.
Just amuse yourself before doing that.
Yeah. I honestly get more and more excited every day that the opportunities that Amazon is giving to us. Yeah, there's some bull crap, and you see it all the time. People get suspended for illegitimate reasons. But every day I see countless multi-millionaires that would not have been that way if it weren't for Amazon. So I'm excited about it.
Nir, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I totally agree with everyone's opinion. I was in order to be here, so I was reading his letter something like 2 or 3 times just to see if I can catch something else. And he was speaking basically all the time about the innovation. We started as an innovation, nobody knew, and now we are innovating and we are the most innovating company, etc., etc. And if I will need to put my finger on what is going to be in the future, it's going to be about the innovation. and there are so many things that Amazon still need to do that are still not exist over there. I don't know if we'll take it this there, but there's a lot of things to do. From the drones that they spoke about that is not existing yet, to even, I don't know, having a chat. We see now on Clubhouse, you just mentioned, Clubhouse is like taking all the walls down. You can speak with, I don't know, we've been yesterday on Clubhouse and somebody from Amazon came in and just
I was just
spoke
going to
with
bring
us.
that up.
Yeah,
Sure.
and you can start speaking with each other. Like it's not, there is like the small world from the 2000, the millennium. Now it's like limitless. You can speak with each other. I was speaking. We are speaking for different countries now. So this for me, this is the innovation in the future, and I don't know, many other things that Amazon can do to involve, to connect the connection between customers and the business itself. Even just 1 second. Even when you're going to a store and you just need to ask something, it's impossible to do that now on Amazon, and this is where I think they will go, and it's so easy to do.
I think it's harder for us as sellers to do. I think for buyers, chat still exists, right, Norman? Tim?
Yeah, but they cannot do that with us.
Yeah, it's right now. It's that's true. What Nir was saying, we were in a club. I don't know if this has already happened to you, but we were in a Clubhouse room yesterday with Anna Davidson, and someone who works at Amazon, who helps, his bio just said that he helps brands, and he had his Amazon email address, was in the room, and Anna brought him up to speak. And it was, first of all, I started being very careful with what I was saying. I do everything as white hat as I'm very white hat. Nir knows that as well. I'm very white hat. But I'm not going to say who they were, but we had two other well-known people in the room, and they were just talking about search, find, buy, and about all sorts of black hat stuff. And I was just sending them messages. This guy works at Amazon. And then one of us tried to ask him a question, and he was like, I can't comment on that. No comment. Remember that, Nir? He was like, I can't give him comment. And we were kind of trying to find out, well, then what are you doing in this room? We're off subject now, but who cares? I was like, what are you doing in this room? Right? Like, what does he have to do in this room? And he was just on mute the entire time. He didn't talk once.
It might be Jeff, because the name, the letter that he was using is
yeah, it wasn't a real name. Like, he just called himself, I don't know if I should say, but it was just a letter.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? About the whole Clubhouse and suddenly Amazon being in there? Barkus, you look like you want to say something.
I always want to say something. I think that, that particular guy, like, he probably just wanted to listen in. Like, they know exactly what we're doing. If you're doing any gray hat, black hat, anything like that, they already know about it. Like, there's nothing, like, they run so many metrics that we don't even really know about. Like, we just found out a few, 4 years ago that they have buyers. Well, they run all these metrics on buyer activity to start to decipher, like, are they only leaving reviews on 5-star reviews? Are they running through multiple gift cards? Like, all that kind of stuff. So there's no telling what kind of metrics they run on sellers and buyer activity that we have no idea about. So I think they know, but way before we get wind of it, probably. So probably just wanted to listen in and just maybe, I don't know, maybe he was on the train or something and just wanted to listen in.
It happened last night too. I assume, Sharon, that happened in your time zone. Last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, I was in a room and there was an Amazon brand manager popped in there too.
Was his name B? As in just the word B? Letter B?
No, it was like Jared or something.
Something like that. I don't know. I have to admit that I don't think all these guys that work at Amazon necessarily know what they're doing. Not all, a lot of them who are, because I don't know, Barkus, it will be really interesting to get your take on this as well, because I sometimes see the PPC the PPC emails that Amazon sends me, and I'm just like, what the F are you talking about?
Those are salespeople. The people that are, they're salespeople. They're not they don't know that much about PPC. So,
Yeah.
and if you are happening to watch this video and you're one of those people, no offense, but like they're salespeople. They're there to get you to spend more money in PPC.
Yes.
So it's not, they're not really good at, because I've had lengthy talks with them before, and I was like, they're like, well, just start this campaign and we'll talk in 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, dude.
Their KPI is revenue, not decreased revenue. Like, we're on opposite sides. I went to one of those Amazon Boost conferences they did in it's either 2018 or 2019, in different cities. And it was a seller summit or something in Fort Lauderdale. And I was standing at this cocktail table on the beach, and this dude walks up and I start talking to him. He hands me his card. He is vice president of campaigns for Amazon.com. And I'm like, what does this mean? He says, I run this program that does PPC. And I'm like, you run all the PPCs? He's like, yeah, I have 650 employees. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm like talking to him. And at the time we were trying to figure out, do you have to index for keywords to actually be able to run a campaign on them? I think it was 2018. And he was looking at me and he's like,
what are you talking about?
Keywords. And I'm like, what? Yeah, like keywords. He's like, no, you just turn on auto campaigns, or we can do it for you. We can run all your ads. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like, this freaking guy. But the other thing you're talking about, I'm going to piss somebody off here. Nir, I don't really know you well. I hope you didn't used to work for Amazon. But talking about how Amazon people like don't always know what they're doing, right? I love when someone posts in their bio, they're like ex-Amazonian. And everybody's like, he's got the connections. He used to work for Amazon.
No.
It could have been he worked in a warehouse, he worked in a call center, or he was a complete dummy and got fired. But there's like this mystique about ex-Amazonians knowing everything. Every Amazonian I think I've ever spoke to knew far less than like the newbies that I talk to every day. It's insane.
I agree.
But there are people on Amazon that do know what they're talking about.
I agree. I just never met them because they're too busy working, not in clubhouse groups,
I'm sticking with some of them, so let's. I don't know.
I'm sure that there is a lot.
I've never worked on Amazon. I'm just.
I think that the ones that know what they're talking about, which also the ones that you deal with, Nir, which are on the appeal side, etc., they're not the type of people we're talking about. They're not the ones trying to get us to spend our money.
No, it's not.
And so it's a different type. So what are we, for the people who don't know, which is probably not that many, although I have to admit, I had to really Google who this Andy Jassy is. Is that how you would pronounce his name? Andy Jassy? The new CEO to be. So what do we think, or what are our expectations of Andy? What do we think that like he's going to do differently, if at all? That's the first question. The second question, and this is probably for you specifically, Nir, what's going to happen with the jeff@amazon.com email? What about everyone that sends the emails to Jeff?
So I had a joke that I prepared that I'm really sad that he's leaving because we are really good friends. I was sending him so many emails. So he doesn't know that, but we are friends.
His team.
Yeah. So the first reaction, okay. So now it will be Andy at Amazon. But basically, I don't know because it's department, as Tim was saying, it's not going to the change will not happen in a minute. I do think that we will see a good. I'm not just playing positive, etc. So I think it's a good thing that is happening. Everyone will be in a new position, and it will be better. And we sure need that after this year with everything. So from my point of view of the appeals, it was like awful period during the holidays. We had so many appeals. It was sad because people wanted.
I went through it. I went through a really shitty time where I had Nir was one of the guys that helped me. When I had my listings taken down. Do you guys know about that? That I had a million keywords, all related to really heavy drugs, keywords I've never heard of in my life, uploaded through a flat file to my through the Canadian account, and I had my listings taken down. Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. And Jeff@amazon.com didn't really help, by the way. But have you guys ever had luck, Norman, Tim, or Marcus, with the email, with emailing the email? Norman, what about you?
No, they are responding.
Yeah,
They do respond after. I don't think they respond to everything. I think it depends on what they respond to. But Norman, do you ever use that email?
I don't anymore. But at the beginning, we used to use it, and it was great, and people did respond. Then, as more and more people got to do it, it just became an email that got passed on. I don't know if it works that much. I don't know how saturated that is. What I'm telling people right now, and this happened yesterday, and man, I should get. I didn't even remember to send the person to you, but I should have. But anyways, this came up yesterday, and it's a popular product that was selling. Spend the thousands of dollars to get the thing resolved or whatever it costs, and move on. I've seen so many people that have said, I don't want to spend the extra money. It takes so much time. You're losing money every day. I know I'm a little bit off topic, but I do want to say something else about, you just go back for a quick second when we go back to Clubhouse. So we're changing things up. Amazon's done things to keep sellers in line to make sure that they are honest. So by going out and buying their products, buying them from multiple sources to make sure that they match, that that you're not trying to drive traffic over to Amazon. This is just another touch point for them, just to monitor, to make sure that what's being said is legit. I don't know what they would do. Like, you might not see immediate action, but there certainly was action against some idiots last year that were ripping off people, and Amazon did take notice of that. And I think Clubhouse is going to be a way that Amazon's going to have their ear to the ground.
Well, that's what I was trying to. That's what it's a good thing. It doesn't affect me, for example, me specifically as in myself, because I'm not in these rooms telling people to do black hat stuff, right? I'm not going to mention names, but there were people in there yesterday, talking about all sorts of, I think we all have different opinions on ranking and things like that. Personally, I don't do any ranking manipulation, but they were hardcore talking about it yesterday. And I was just like, stop talking about it. This guy's in here. And I sent them an Instagram. This guy works at Amazon. We said that he works at Amazon. I think people need to be careful. People like us in the industry. I think we do need to be careful because, like Barker said, we don't know what information. I don't know what information also they have. These types of people have when they, look us up or whatever. But I don't know. It scares me. Doesn't it scare you guys? Thinking about it, Tim, what about you? Dockets, no.
It doesn't. It doesn't scare me, and I think maybe just because I'm just used to tech companies trying to gather every piece of data they can on people. So that's just the way U.S. tech companies work these days. So am I worried about
planting people into Clubhouse rooms, and listening to what we're saying?
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about it because I'm not trying to tell people to do anything black hat. Sure, Amazon's going to try to use. I'm sure that they've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time. They part of it. I'm trying not to be entirely pessimistic. I'm hopeful that they try to keep their finger on the pulse of trends among sellers. Hey, what are they doing that's working well? How can we help these people? Of course, they're trying to find bad players, and if all you do is look for bad things, that's all you're going to find.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's people out there that are intentional spies for Amazon that are we're going to go into social media and try to find all the bad players. I'm sure there is. But if there is, they're not doing that good of a job about it because there's all kinds of
it's nonstop.
There's all kinds of black hat tactic groups on every form of social media. I don't know. I don't worry about them collecting data on me though. It's not a
because most of us do. All of us, I think, we do mostly white hat. So but there are some people, pretty dodgy people out there with dodgy methods. Tim, what did you want to say?
Just think about this. In the entire Amazon ecosystem, we're this big.
Yeah, that's true.
We're this big, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean we're not important, but when you think of everything they have to AWS. And I mean, look, think about just Prime Video. Prime Video is one of the largest TV and movie production companies the world has ever seen. And they're like a sideshow of Amazon. Amazon's just too big. They don't have time to be spying on us and figuring out what we do. They only react when they're forced to react. So, case in point, the review thing, when the government said you have to shut down the reviews, then that became the deal. The deal with the liability insurance. Amazon's got their butt sued for 3 years, and they're finally just now starting to enforce the insurance. The preferred payment providers or the PSP thing that happened the other day, that's only happening because the U.S. government's AML, the anti-money laundering laws, are being shoved down their throat. Like, should we be doing black hat stuff? Absolutely not. But I do not think that they are organized enough and focused enough to be putting spies in clubhouse groups and listening. What I think is they are now incentivizing their employees on commission basis more, which I know is happening on the guys that are driving revenue. The brand onboarding, brand management, PPC guys, and they're just finding their own ways to create revenue. That's why they put their email address in their things. If they were spying on us, they wouldn't say, message me, tim@amazon.com. No, they're trying to get business, right? Now, that being said, the reason the guy's like, I can't comment is, man, the NDAs and the stuff that they sign.
Yeah, of course.
I've been trying to get the head of Amazon Australia on the AMP podcast for 2 months, and I had to send the entire script. Like, we have to script it. I have to send every question she has to answer. It's been sitting at the legal department with Amazon Australia, not even US, for 2 months, and they still haven't responded. They're so far behind. So keep doing what you're doing, but don't do anything stupid.
I totally agree. And I would, sorry, Sharon, I would even say, if you're doing black hat, eventually they will find out. So just don't play with that. It's always on the worst time that they catch you.
I agree. We asked the guy yesterday because he did talk. We asked him, why are you in these types of rooms on Clubhouse, and who is the type of seller you would like to contact you, right? Because he put his email on there, and he just said he's here. Oh, did you? Did he email you back?
No, not yet. I will.
We were trying to figure out, like, what does he want from this room, because he wasn't really talking much. But anyway, we're off subject. So about Andy, I have to keep looking at his name, Andy Jassy. What is one prediction, or what do you guys think that he is going to do, basically, or how is he going to help or affect, or what experience does he have that he's bringing into this new role as CEO now of Amazon rather than AWS?
I'll tell you what I think he's going to do is take a freaking beating. All right? Think about this. So the CEO has legal obligations. Right. All right? The CEO has legal obligations. An executive chairman, which Bezos is becoming, does not have those same legal obligations. When you think about, like, the big vision, well, let me say this. Let me go back to old NFL football reference. U.S. football, right? Football Americana, whatever other people call it. 2 quarterbacks, Brett Favre and John Elway. Marcus, tell me the difference between the two's retirement.
Between their retirements?
Yep, when they retired. Brett Favre, John Elway.
I'll just pretend as if I know who you're talking about.
I mean, I know the players, but I don't know what the reference. I don't know.
You let me down, Clark. You let me down. But here's the thing: Brett Favre was at the top of his game, and he played too long, and he started declining. When he finally retired, he sucked. Right? John Elway won 2 Super Bowls. The second Super Bowl, he got the Super Bowl MVP, and he walked away.
He retired.
And he's happy, and he's healthy, and he didn't get the crap kicked out of him. Now look at guys like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg. When you pull up images of Mark Zuckerberg now, where do you see him? You see him sitting in a congressional investigation.
With his eyes like this.
Sitting there staring at senators who are grilling him. Like, that's not a nice way to go. Bezos has a lot of fun stuff that he could be doing in his life right now, like flying to Mars and hanging out in Jack Ma's bunker, because that's where Jack Ma's got to be right now, is Mars.
No, they found it.
And also look at Bezos. He went through a disgustingly horrible divorce. I mean, like a multi-billion-dollar divorce. The dude is beat down. The dude's got to be tired.
He's also still the second richest person in the world. I don't feel that
exactly
bad.
like I think the dude is literally just
he wants a break.
His new CEO in place to take the beating, and he's going to have fun. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's walking out at John Elway, top of the game status, not Brett Favre status.
Bacchus, what do you think about Andy coming in? What's he going to do? How's he going to affect us?
I don't think anything will necessarily change
at all
for third-party sellers, like not for our space. Maybe I'm hopeful that'd be cool. I think that they might try to focus more on strengthening AWS in the form of government contracts. So, they lost that contract. They had a contract for they lost it to Microsoft, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think that burned them. I think that Jeff Bezos is extremely competitive, and I like that. I'm happy with that. And I think he doesn't like Microsoft or anything Elon does. So I dig that competitive nature, as long as it doesn't turn, nasty. So I hope that stays. I mean, I don't know. I'm a huge nerd, so like anything about space or tech or anything that's like for the future innovations, like I'm always about it. So I'll be happy to see them both like race rockets to Mars. So I don't think anything's really going to change for us, our community. It's just like, even though this, what was it, 2020? Like, what was the growth for third-party seller revenue? What is it, like 40%? It grew by 40%.
No, it was more than that. The e-com standard was like 42%. Amazon specific was like 79%.
Okay, yeah. So like it just went through the roof. I don't expect them to focus anything to help us either communicate better with them or communicate better with their buyers. I expect eventually, I know, but I've been saying this for a couple of years. I eventually expect them where we can never even just ask for a review period. We can never send anything as far as an order issue, anything like that. We'll just never be able to communicate with those buyers one day. That's where it keeps going towards. And I think that's just going to happen. I would love for them to see a better space for us to communicate with them in terms of like appeals, suspension, these kind of things. And, there's so many of us that want to do the right thing. And it's like, okay, I did something wrong. I don't know what it is. Tell me and I'll never do it again. That's happened to everybody. Yeah. It's happened to everybody, and it will continue to happen. But they're just like, no, you have to tell us what you did wrong and then tell us how you're going to fix it and never do it again. Like, well, I don't know what I did wrong. Can you give me some information? So stuff like that, I would like to see that open up a little bit more. I doubt it, but it would be cool.
Andy, if you're hearing this, we'd love for you to fix that. Right,
Andy,
guys?
jump on. We got questions.
Andy, jump on. We've got so many things to tell you. But just before, Norm, is there anything that you think? I'm going to be honest. I had to like really Google a little bit of Andy. But is there anything you think like he's bringing in to this new role? I really needed to understand exactly what AWS does, right? And I think he's done amazing things from the 20 minutes that I read about him, right? So I'm asking you, Norm, who's also very into all this stuff. Do you think that he's bringing anything new into this role that, I don't know, will have any sort of impact on us? So we talked about Jeff leaving, and now let's talk about Andy coming in. Do you think there's anything, or do you expect, hope, anything specific from Andy coming into this new role?
All I can say is it would be pure speculation. I don't know him. I don't know I know now where he's come from, but to say anything about him or his thoughts, I don't think it would be worth the time. What I think we should look at is who's running the division, like who's the executive below him running Amazon's 3PL service or private label services, and where that's going. And that would be an interesting conversation. And probably I'll do some digging after this to find out where their mindset is. That's I think the starting point for
moving forward.
Yeah.
The team around him and under him.
Yep.
Exactly. I could see them improving their data from a development side, like third-party development. Yeah, they've started to focus like building new APIs and improving old ones. which they should have done 5 years ago. But maybe with Andy, like maybe that might be a focus because it's really just server space and just available like data points in server space. So maybe that could, if that happens, that could open up a whole new data set for sellers and third-party software as well. The speed needs to be improved. I could say that. So.
You just said earlier about the appeals and that it would be great if we had more of the ability to understand exactly what we've done wrong, etc. Because usually there's a problem. It's to do with this. Now go find out what it is on your own, or pay someone like Nir, etc., thousands of dollars for them to do it for you. I saw in one of the groups that they've started telling you exactly what the issue is with your title. Did you guys see that?
I saw.
I haven't been through it yet.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, that they told you exactly what the. Go for it, Tim. What were you going to say?
I was saying, but it's only titles.
Titles, yeah.
That's not like a suspension. That's like a suppression of a single listing. So it is a start. Basically, it says, oh, and it has to do with IP. So if they suppress your listing, they're saying that the reasons are UPC is not a valid number, or what the infringement type is, whether it's a trademark, product packaging, word mark, logo, design, right? So it's still very, very small subset, but it's a start. And I've always wondered, like, I hate this crap when Amazon says you're suspended for doing something you shouldn't have. Tell us what you did, and we might reinstate you.
Yeah.
Like this is like walking up to my 4-year-old and being like, "What do you need to tell me?" And he's like in his brain thinking of 12 things he should tell me, but oh my gosh, he's not about to tell me that 12.
Which one?
And I wonder if Amazon does that because they know that we are more sophisticated than them. They know that. And they know that we find all the loopholes. We find the ways to tweak I almost said twerk things. That's more Barkis's like Friday nights. I meant tweak things.
We're never hanging out again, Tim.
Sorry. And I think that they don't want to always admit how they know what they've caught us doing, because then we just figure out another way around it. We don't get caught, right? So I think there's a purpose behind them not doing it. Not that I like it, but I kind of understand it.
Nir, do you have anything to say about that as it appeals?
I was thinking while Tim was speaking about it. Yeah, it's always complicated because they are not telling you anything, and we had that problem with all the related account that appeared like in the end of the year, and then they didn't say anything besides 3 letters and like a team that was supposed to help us, but didn't have any information about it. And then people said in many groups it's a glitch, and I think there are no glitches on that side. You can fix everything, but it's not a glitch. You can fix sometimes it very easily, by the way, but you need to know how to answer them, and you need to think not according to what you want, but according to what Amazon wants. Yeah. So you need to give them their answer. It sounds simple, but it's not. And I do agree with you, Tim. They know a lot. Like I get once a month, like research that we are doing, what Amazon knows now about. Everybody knows that they know our IP and wireless, etc., but they know much more. I need to
than what we know that they know.
Yeah, I need to be on top of this kind of thing. So it's creepy. I heard 2 days ago what is the new thing, because they are constantly changing the algorithm or the way they know the script knows or everybody familiar with that. I don't want to be too boring with that, but they do know it's not a glitch. We just need to be, we need to act, we spoke about Black Hat, etc. We don't need to do these kind of things, because they will know. If they don't know now, we're just waiting for us. Yeah. And more than that, I don't know how to say it. It's kind of you know what? Let's stop in this point, because it's not. I don't think that they are helping us with this the ability of making POA with ourselves. I think I'm trying to say to people, stop for a minute and think before you're answering Amazon. It's not something that you'll fix in a second. So that's
agreed.
Yeah.
Saibi said, surely Amazon isn't any different from any giant organization. Left hand doesn't know what right hand is doing.
And also,
which is true.
It is true, but we all of us here, all of us that are listening, are small business owners. We wake up one morning, we make a decision, and we make a change. And it can be a huge change for our business, but in the big grand scheme of life, it's not going to create a ripple effect through the world. When you're an organization as big as Amazon, they have to double and triple and quadruple and quintuple check everything and get approval and compliance, and right. So even in their liability area, in the areas where they're being told what you can tell clients or sellers, there is a lawyer somewhere that has told them, if you suspend them, this is what you can and can't tell them. It takes forever. Look at the big indictment that came down last year, with the guys that we know that were doing all the, that was like 2017. This was terabytes of information stolen. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars passed off in duffel bags. And it took 3 years to put it together. Right. And I'm sure it's because 850 attorneys had to sign off on this thing, and everybody got, like the compliance and the market. It's crazy. So just keep in mind that when you get this thing and you're frustrated, there's no point, like Nir said, of a quick response and, sending a quick response and expecting a quick response, because it has to go through 72 layers of bureaucracy for anything to happen. Right. It's a very different world than we live in every day.
Yeah.
All right. So Danny, our one and only true love, is here saying, Tim is right. When I did a few webinars for Amazon in the UK, everything had to be signed off by legal. We've gone off subject, and I know Norm needs to go soon because he's now got his show in 10 minutes, right, Norm?
Actually, I checked, and I'm good until 11 or till noon.
Till noon, cool.
It's Monday or Friday.
I was going to say, bringing it back to the subject for a second, that I went on to my Instagram stories and I asked, do you think that Jeff stepping down is going to affect us as Amazon sellers? And I think, I can't remember the numbers now, but there was a small amount of people that said yes, and then a huge amount of people that said no. So I looked at who said yes and who said no, and everyone who said yes doesn't sell at Amazon. I know them. And they don't, or there's service providers that don't sell on Amazon, like sourcing people and things like that. And everyone who said yes were people who actually sell at Amazon. So I think we've all come to the conclusion that Jeff stepping down is not going to in any way affect us, right? Or have an impact on our businesses, not in a good, not for the good, not for the bad. And we can all continue life as normal, right? We've all agreed on the subject. And Andy coming in from AWS, basically now coming into here. I was interested because I thought maybe Barkus at least would be like, oh, he's probably going to do this and that, because he's done a lot of things on the geeky side of Amazon. Andy is done on the geeky side of Amazon. Not calling you a geek, Barkus, although you did call yourself a geek.
I'm a huge nerd, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Nerd's a word. But I thought that maybe some of you would have would say something specifically about what you predict that Andy may do differently. But I think we all just don't know. And Norm said it correctly. It's about the team that he has, not right, Norm?
Right.
Yeah. Yes, Neil.
I was asking my group if they can predict the future, and basically I got really funny answers like FBA Moon. Things like that.
Yeah. I think that, Barkus, it was you in my group who said about that Jeff's now going to put all his focus about getting to the moon. I think this whole Elon and Jeff thing's pretty funny. If anyone has anything to say about it, you feel free.
I've followed both of them for a long time, and Elon's been blowing up rockets since 2010, 2011. And I think Bezos is several steps behind.
Yeah.
And Joe Rothschild mentioned it in the comments. It's always been his dream to colonize space for Bezos. So you've got like two guys that have the potential of like being very super villainy and getting to Mars. So, I mean, Elon's thoughts are like to nuke Mars to cool it down. So it's like, all right, well, that's a little while, So I think they both have huge dreams of colonizing a planet. Like, to me, it's just unheard of. So it's such a far reach that, and I mean, he's got the money to do it. Both of them do. So they've got the clout, so they can hire the best people. They can get the investors. I mean, I don't know, like what else is there to do when you're like the number 1 and 2 richest people in the world? You've built legacy companies that have changed. They, arguably they've changed the world. Both people. What else is there to do except go get on a new planet? So
think about that, Norm. If you were the richest or the second richest man in the world, would you be dealing with websites, cloud computing, or would you go do something fun, like your day-to-day operations?
Probably something fun.
Yeah, Bezos, I'm walking away from that junk, and I'm going to go freaking do something amazing. Like, I don't want to be dealing with board meetings and all that bull crap. I mean, you only have one life to live, and the dude is loaded. Man, I'd be doing something. I'd go buy an island. Like, I'd do something cool. I can't blame the guy.
I do know a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and your analogy with the football quarterbacks was cool. I love it.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
But a lot of the entrepreneurs that I know, they are junkies. They're adrenaline junkies that always want to better go one up. And I'm not sure what to expect, because if I was Mr. Bezos, I would sit back and eat bonbons. But I'm not, and who knows what his next venture will be? I don't know.
We had here Nirvana say it depends. Everybody was thinking after Steve Jobs, Apple would collapse, but it had even better performance. That's very true.
And anybody that's listening, if you've never read this book right here that happens to be laying on my desk, Rocket Fuel, you need to read this book. And it defines the difference between a visionary and an integrator. And, like Jeff was definitely a visionary, which was great. But the reason, and so was Steve Jobs, and the reason Apple started performing better is after he visualized the thing and put it together, integrators started running it, and they made it more efficient, and they made it more streamlined. So there's a really, really good chance that this new guy coming from the cloud world, is probably more of an integrator. He's not outspoken. We haven't seen him. So Amazon may actually get more profitable. Like, that's why to Norm's point, the stock didn't tank. I think the smart savvy stockholders went, all right, let's shuffle crazy Jeff out of the way and turn this thing into a little bit more focused of a machine.
Yeah, that's why I was asking earlier if you guys think that anything like Andy specifically is going to. I keep having to look at how to pronounce his last name. Andy Jassy is going to do anything different specifically, because he does come from the AWS world, right?
I think the tech could improve.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hopeful, like Apple, like when Steve Jobs left, I think a lot of innovation left because his lead designer, Johnny, left, I don't know, several years after that. So Apple as a company has performed and done better every year. And hats off to Tim Cook. He's from my area, so shout out to him. But the innovation is really stagnant. Like, they haven't produced anything really innovative, I don't know, since the iPhone. But that's just me being a nerd. So again, with Amazon, the tech could improve. They're starting to focus more on social media, Amazon Post, Amazon Live, tons of things. So those kind of things could improve and get better. The tech from a buyer's point of view, the tech from a seller's point of view, they could all improve. Maybe they want to build more third-party seller tools. Like brand analytics is amazing. That's only data you can get from Amazon. So that we could see maybe some more innovation in all those aspects. So I don't know. I mean, they're constantly optimizing for the mobile experience. So maybe something there. So that's what I would like to see at least.
We'll have to wait and see what he does.
Yeah.
Or how these things will improve. I think whatever we're going to see would have probably happened anyway, to be honest. Not specifically.
But it's change.
It's definitely a change. Joe said wow, this is a long one. Andy has a pretty strong grasp on AWS and has done a great job growing the product. I would expect that. I think within a few years, we will see the system and algorithms improve. Hopefully, we'll streamline all of the issues that sellers face, like the whole fake review thing and why they don't have a system that can draw on 18 years worth of review data to pop out the questionable stuff. Fixing the issues with suspensions that occur regularly for questionable reasons. Repairing them. Maybe there's more there, but I couldn't. It's not coming up, so I can't see it.
Fast typer, stand by. It's coming.
Yeah, well, yeah. Joe definitely likes to write really long sentences, but he's a lot of the time very correct. But I agree. All right, well, we're coming up to an hour. We all agree that there's not going to be much of an impact. We are all hopeful. This is me summing it up. We're all hopeful that there will be changes that will have a good impact on us as sellers. Mr. Tim Jordon, if anyone wants to get hold of you, to speak to you, where can they find you?
Well, don't send me a private Facebook message because I never read them and then everybody gets mad at me for ignoring them unintentionally. But go to the Private Label Legion Facebook group and tag me in a post there because if I don't see it, one of our staff will yell at me until I respond. So Private Label Legion Facebook group.
Awesome. Bacchus, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
I guess same thing for Facebook messages. Don't send me one. But I guess email would be the best way because I don't know. I just get so many spam and stuff in the messenger. I just never check it. Just barkus.p@helium10.com.
Awesome. The one and only Norman with the biggest beard in the world. Do you know, Norman, before you say that, do you know that there are beard competitions? Like amazing beard competitions, and people actually get like really cool stuff from winning?
I was walking in the airport before this whole COVID thing. Somebody came up to me in the airport and asked me about the beard competition that was going on, and I had no idea what they were talking about. But
you should look into it. No, I was looking at a beard product that is not saturated. I know beard products are saturated, but I was looking at something that isn't. And then I saw these. I started doing more in-depth research, and then I realized that there's all these competitions for really long beards, and they do weird things with them. And it sounds wrong, but anyway, Norm, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, or to apply for you to put you in one of these competitions, where can they get in touch?
There we go. You can reach out on Facebook or same thing, the Private Label Legion Facebook group. And Nicole will also message me if I don't answer the person. So yeah, that's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. And Nir, if anyone needs to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
I'm answering everything. You can send me via Facebook, WhatsApp, email. You can log into MarketWise with a Z.com, and I will just answer. It's people need to approach me when it's urgent, so I'm answering every channel.
That's awesome. Thank you.
By the way, Andre, yes, we do.
Yes.
We do get back to everybody. Anybody who does write the question, we try to get back to everybody. Now, if it's a timely matter, I'm not that great, but we do answer. I think everybody here answers their own email. Yeah.
I think that it's tough because both Tim and I also have YouTube channels, and then now you've got people that get in touch with you on LinkedIn, and then on YouTube, and then on your Facebook, and then your Instagram, and then email, and then it's so tough, right? You have all these. So yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Norm and I are actually both hiring personal executive assistants right now, just to handle
handling your messages. That's freaking genius. That's very smart. I will look into that. That's smart. I'll wait to see how it goes for you guys, and then if it goes well, because sometimes you just need to answer yourself, right?
Tim is really cheap. Tim is really cheap. Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and Isabella will be back on Monday with Mindset. So thank you all for being here, and we'll end it here. Bye.